The prologue was cut from the main game and released as a standalone game. There was talk of the game having a third act in Eastern Europe. There was a final story thread in the form of a cinematic cutscene cut from the final print.
Now, 2 years after the release, I want to pose a question. How do we feel about it now?
Some feel it is a disappointment. Some hate it because they feel it is unfinished. And some flat out don't like it because the story is all over the place. They feel they want something like Metal Gear Solid 4, but better. More of the same.
And only now I discovered that this cutscene that is on the collector's edition, you can only see this scene on the collector's edition. It wasn't finished. The scene is not finished. And anybody that got the collector's edition could just watch this scene. But I'm sitting here like, there's more to that I feel, but we don't get to see it. Because this game was like, just get this game out the door. Ship it. Ship it.
Now, I do like the game a lot. I do. The story is very tight in the first 4 or 5 hours of the game. Then it opens up and lets you wander and mess about as you please.
I spoke into his eyes, I thought you died alone a long time.
The game can be very disjointed at times, and it may require you to do some aggressive recruiting for Mother Base, so you can get better gear. And that's what games are about. Doing the same thing for 10, 20 hours. My first playthrough recorded over 115 hours. So, when does the game end?
You know what? Coming back to it a year later, I'm still amazed by the crisp, sharp visuals and cinematography.
I'm still amazed by the soundtrack. I'm still amazed by the gameplay. I am still amazed by all the cassette recordings, filled with exposition, context, and revelations. You get the picture, right? I still have a good time playing the Phantom Pain.
You know what the silly thing is? For this video, I set out just to play like the first 5-6 hours. And I ended up like playing all of chapter 1. That's like 30 missions. It's half the game. No, that's not half the game. That's like 80% of the game. Yeah. Is the Phantom Pain better than Snake Eater? I don't know. I want to say yes, but I just don't know. Although, yeah, that's a whole another video for another time. But okay, we have to take an intermission here, a break, supposedly. Because the next half of the video is going to be a story analysis piece. If you don't want any of that, you could jump ship now. This is your spoiler warning. I have to talk about endgame stuff to lay down my thoughts on how this game takes a lot of stuff from Moby Dick and what it tries to do in the game that really is exciting for me. I want to talk about this stuff. I really want to talk about this stuff. I want to put it to video. Alright? This is a TV I'm looking at. When I'm looking here, this is a TV right here, so I could know how I look right now. Look pretty good. Yeah. So, if you don't care about spoilering it for yourself, stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back in a moment.
If you were interested in the Phantom Pain, you know that Big Boss has been in a coma for 9 years. Here, we are just coming out of that coma. What?
Your name is Ahab.
Wait a minute. No way. This is a mistake, right? Kojima wouldn't draw from Moby Dick, right?
You can call me Ishmael.
Arriving shortly at LZ. Quick is outbound. Departing the AO for now.
Everything is what it is.
In Herman Melville's fictional novel, Ishmael is the sole survivor of the crew aboard the Pequod, and it is written from Ishmael's perspective after the fact. I can understand why Ahab goes by Punished Venom Snake. He was specifically reprogrammed and designed to only take cold, bitter revenge. The real Big Boss has no venom at that point. He wouldn't be quick to revenge. If I'm Big Boss, why would I try to re-establish MSF to perpetuate the idea of outer heaven?
When I could just create a more bloodthirsty, dangerous phantom of myself. Ocelot is well aware of everything going on. Ocelot has always been a double agent, well aware of everything. He's never oblivious. Good at pretending that he is, because he uses doublethink. He's really just there to feed intel to the real Big Boss about Ahab's activities. But what is the Phantom's white whale? Isn't that a strange thing to think about? Like, he is not the real Big Boss. If the real Big Boss was running the show, it'd be simple. Just go kill Skullface. But you have Ahab pretending to be the boss. And when he goes and killed Skullface, what does that mean for him? What is that white whale for Big Boss that he's masquerading to be mean to kill Skullface for himself? What does that mean? That's like, how do you feel about that? How are you supposed to feel about that? You yourself as Ahab is pretending to be Big Boss, and Big Boss's white whale is Skullface, and you playing as Big Boss kill Skullface, and how does that feel to you?
Is Ahab's white whale Skullface? Zero Sahelanthropus? The thing is, when you destroy Sahelanthropus and Skullface, the game goes on. You got your revenge. If you are playing it for the first time, nothing was answered. The game keeps going.
Ahab, the character, learns what is really going on fairly early into the game. That he's not Big Boss early into the game.
But you, as a player, don't learn anything until you keep digging through the game after the false ending. Your own white whale is not taking things at face value. Do all the unlockable cassette recordings answer all the questions? Do they give the player a sense of finality? Is there a sense of finality when everything is unlocked and all the main ops and side ops are complete?
How long are you going to keep chasing this white whale? You could say Big Boss jumped ship even before signing away his soul to the Pequod. That leads into a certain proxy war without end. Smart enough to not even begin the story, because he knows how this story goes. Diamond Dogs is MSF? Just with a new cipher. Perpetuating the cycle. What is the world worth?
There's one tape I played and listened to before I deleted my original game save for the Phantom Pain. This is some months after I stopped playing the game when I couldn't bring myself to beat the 3 remaining missions. One mission was to destroy Sahelanthropus again on extreme difficulty. I stopped because I refused to grind for more advanced weaponry. I said that's enough, you got to learn when to stop. Miller didn't know when to stop, and where do you find him? In some enemy holdout, missing some limbs. He is too happy to see Big Boss. The one key he was missing to rebuild MSF again to begin the cycle anew.
So that may say I'm a sane person. Knowing when to stop.
I do forget what it was titled, but it is when Zero visits Big Boss while still in a coma. From what I took from it, Skullface acted alone outside of Zero's command, and Zero did everything he could to hide Big Boss while he was in a coma to protect him from the world who would have him killed.
Yep, that's all it is. But there's something to be said about how I felt starting a new game, starting a new cycle, rewinding the tape, and playing it all over again.
Can you hear me? Are you having difficulty speaking? Just nod if you can hear me.